And just finally, before we let you go, since we have you here, we haven't had a chance to kind of talk about some of the...
I'm not speaking about anything that's off topic. This is only about the president.
Well, what about...
Thank you.
All right, so Congressman Michael Grimm does not want to talk about some of the allegations concerning his campaign finances. We wanted to get him on camera on that, but he, as you saw, refused to talk about that. Back to you. Why?
Let me be clear to you. You have to do that to me again. I'll turn you over.
I just wanted to ask you. Why? It's a valid question.
You tell me what the fuck. No, you're not made. You're not made.
I've seen this now 10 times. I just can't believe he went there. But that, of course, is seen, as you can see, late Tuesday night. By the way, in the far distance, you can see Andrew Whitman, who was there covering the event for us, by the way. But now, this to me is almost equally as bad. Grimm gets asked about what he said. Most logical politicians I've found, regardless of party, when you know you did something really bad, what's the first thing you do? Get out ahead of it. Well, this is how the congressman described his view of what happened. And again, they told him he was caught on camera. He said, I was extremely annoyed because I was doing New York One a favor by rushing to do their interview first in lieu of several other requests. The reporter knew that I was in a hurry and was only there to comment on the State of the Union, but insisted on taking a disrespectful and cheap shot at the end of the interview because I didn't have time to speak off topic. I verbally took the reporter to task, is one way of saying it, and I told him off because I expect a certain level of professionalism and respect. I'm not making this up, especially when I go out of my way to do that reporter a favor. I doubt that I'm the first member of Congress to tell off a reporter, and I'm sure I won't be the last. Now, eventually, Grimm apologized, but I have been doing this for a while. I've been in the rotunda. No one ever threatened to try and throw me off the balcony. How about you guys? Anyone?
You guys try to throw me off the set every night.
This is true. And sometimes successful. But no, but Dom, forget about this guy for a second, because Jonathan's got a great story. We've all had off-camera disagreements with elected officials. But where he went with that was, especially rung around that thing. You can't see it. Our television cameras, microphones, lights. He had just done a live interview. I mean, imagine what he would have said if there weren't cameras around, right?
You are correct. Rule 101, elected officials, some free advice here. The camera is always rolling. So you have to be careful with what you say, period. I mean, you just have to. I mean, the question is, the congressman's behavior was completely unprofessional. But the question is, what was said, in fairness to the congressman, the agreement beforehand? Now, normally covering State of the Union address, listen, Congressman, I need a live interview as soon as this is over. Now, I don't know what happened. Maybe they agreed to only talk about the State of the Union.
Let's even say the reporter,
and I've known Mr. Scotto for a very long time.
And let's say the reporter, and we don't know he did, even hypothetically, went somewhere where they had said he wasn't going to go. To do what he said, and not just to say, you know, calling him out for it, but to threaten him with violence, and then to go back, not once, not twice, but then take a second back, and then go with that final thing like a boy, and everybody can read in their own interpretations in that. Unbelievable.
Michael apologized the next day. He called.
Not in his first chance.
He apologized the next day. He called the reporter up, offered to go to lunch now to talk about things and bury the hatchet, so to speak. So he eventually
I'd be careful
did the right thing.
Michael. I'd want to do it on the ground floor.
He eventually did the right thing. He apologized. That's what we have to ask of him, and move on from this and let it go.
Eventually did the right thing. Let it go. I don't think it's that easy. And Jonathan, put a little context here. You can. But everybody knows this guy is a hothead. He's a former Marine, former FBI agent, and he's been very clear. He will let you know what he thinks. Oh, yeah. And this isn't the first time he's threatened violence here if he doesn't like the way an interview or a conversation goes, right?
Yeah, listen, I'm a constituent of his. I was, in 2012, I was at a public forum, a campaign forum, not an official event, and there were many questions, and I asked him what I thought was a legitimate question, the same thing. Congressman, you've racked up close to $1 million in legal fees. Many of your close associates are being, you know, it's been reported are being investigated about your campaign activity from 2010. You know, why should we as a voter, why should we as constituents believe in you, trust you, and think that you'll be around and you'll be able to properly and adequately serve as a member of Congress? And he says, oh, that's the New York Times just being a liberal sort of witch hunt going after me. And I said, Congressman, it's not just the New York Times. Everybody's reporting it. The New York Post, the Daily News, the Washington Post. And he says, don't cut me off. Show some respect. If you don't have any respect, I'll be happy to come over there and show you some and teach you some.
John, wait, let's correct one factual thing in the record.
Yes.
Were you not paid by his opponent during the last campaign, or your firm?
No. 2012,
okay,
absolutely not.
But prior to that, you represented the previous. You were a Democratic operative in that fight, and the candidate didn't show up to a forum.
Why didn't he show up? Wait, 1 second.
The Democratic
Why
opponent didn't show up.
Who was the moderator?
I don't know.
On the payroll of Michael Grimm. On the payroll of Michael Grimm.
This is the same campaign that brought his ex-wife and sat in the front of the.
I don't care. He's making things up. That's not true.
You had no right to sit there and ask those questions.
That's 2010
you
and
did not
2012.
belong in that forum.
Ryan, I'm trying to get somewhere in TV. The point for the audience is, I don't care. The point is, you can't, as a candidate, let alone an elected official, threaten a constituent, an interviewer, anybody with saying, I'll come over there and teach you respect. I'll throw you off a balcony. He's made you saw this reporting today here from other people close to him. He's said other stuff before. There's been allegations going too far.
Let's make this clear. What he did with Scotto was wrong.
But there's a pattern.
I said that. But what happens when you're a Democratic operative asking questions and trying to screw the pooch on this one is a different conversation. I'm sorry, I can't accept that.
Okay, let's take the operatives out of it for a second. Okay? The problem I have, and this is one of the problems I have with Governor Christie, when he chastises a reporter saying, you're off topic, you have to understand what's happened in America. Public officials, Rudy Giuliani and so on, Richard, they have become so emboldened that they feel they can limit what you're going to ask a question on. And my rule of thumb is, I will never tell you what topic, I don't care who your press secretary is. I won't tell you my topics, and I won't tell you my questions. Deal with it, homeboy, or whoever you are, the public official.
Because, without being Pollyannish, he works, in this case, Grimm, for the public.
Right.
And as much as he may not like to acknowledge this, you're getting paid by we, the taxpayer. There is a federal investigation about you. This isn't up for debate. It's going on. If you choose not to answer the question, that's fine. But how dare you act that it's disrespectful that someone will have the temerity to pose a question about an ongoing investigation about you? To me, that got lost in this somehow. That's your job, pal. Now, you don't have to answer. It's America. You can answer what you don't. But how dare you be outraged that someone has the nerve to say, you, who are on my payroll, answer the question here. Here it is. Answer it, don't answer it. That's your choice. But to throw you off a balcony,
it's almost
break
like
you like a boy
mentality.
Yeah. All right. Finally, are we going to see Vita Fossella rise from the ashes here, or is Michael Grimm's?
After that performance, I believe so.
You agree?
Michael Grimm is going to go down fighting unless he's taken away in cuffs.
Literally,
he will
Don't forget,
he
the
will be running.
The primary is in late June.
Right.
Petitioning starts early in March. It's a very short window right now to figure this out.
Though?
I think the issue is going to be the girlfriend right now and what happens in court next week at this point. I don't think Vito wants to run, by the way. He's making too much money right now, and I don't think he's done enough in the community yet to sort of rehab himself and go out there and do things.
He's got instant brand.
He's being created by John Catsimatidis right now because Grimm endorsed Loda and didn't go with Catsimatidis. So right now there's a lot of things, and Vito gets his name out there, gets a chance to play the game. I don't know what's going to happen, though.
You know what happens this Sunday, everybody. When we come back, we got a few days left till the Super Bowl, and somehow, believe it or not, there are still tickets available. And is this thing a sign of bigger issues with not just where it's being played also, but in the temps? We're going to talk about the Super Bowl coming up, and as we go out, a live shot of the Empire State Building.